What's going on, everybody? It's Aurora Icejade coming at you with a brand new video. And so, I guess I was just looking around on Twitter and I saw that Icejade got new support cards, so I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm going to go ahead and get into this. However, I will mention that you're going to notice there are only 2 support cards in this video, and that is because I don't believe my last one, had 2 cards, but, essentially, I've decided to change it from instead of a archetype needing at least 4 pieces of support in order for me to cover it, I'm actually dropping it down to 2 because I like money. Anyways, let's go ahead and get right into this. So, we got new Icejade cards coming out in Photon Hypernova, and it says Icejade is angry. I think that's the, the second newest one, not the really big one, but like the small one that's in the artwork of Curse that came out with Curse back in, what was it, like Dimension Force, something like that? I don't know, she's like the only one that was left alive, and so it's got like, I think it's a Spell and a Synchro, yeah. Because the big one was actually a tuner, so that's kind of crazy. But yeah, as you can notice, she's fighting the evil Longwan. It's the new one, the one that's fused with the Serpent of Golgonda. I believe that's what it's called. It's the Supreme Sinister Serpent of Golgonda or whatever. But yeah, I didn't cover that because it was just only 1 card, but it sucks. Like, that's all you need to know. The new Longwan sucks. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and look at this. So here's their new Synchro monster. It is Icejade Adrian Geimer. It is a Water Aqua Synchro level 10 with 3,000 attack and 1,500 defense. Konami, please come up with more unique attack stats than 3,000. But it says you can only use this card's name. You can only use this card's name 1 and 2 effects once per turn each, but that just means you can only use each effect. Quick effect: you can activate this effect for the rest of this turn. Face-up monsters you control cannot be destroyed by or banished by an opponent's card effect. And if you activate this effect in response to an opponent's card or effect, and a card with that same name is on your opponent's field or in their graveyard, you can banish all of those cards with the same name. If a card is banished by your opponent's effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. This just seems alright, so it's a bit interesting how they worded this, because I don't think I've ever seen a card do that, but it basically just means, like, say your opponent activated, like, Predaplant Dragostapelia, right? You chain this, and basically once this resolves, it's also going to banish all copies of Predaplant Dragostapelia from your opponent's field and graveyard, which is pretty cool. And it looks like this also stops tier now that I think about it. You can activate this effect for the rest of the turn, face one, effect. Yeah, so you can literally chain this to a tier card and then banish that card. That is hilarious. And I actually do really like the second effect as well, like the free special summon back. It's a really big body, and it only gets even bigger after you synchro summon using the materials that it needs, because the level 7 tuner, which I don't know why the big one's a tuner, but I mean, hey, it's a tuner. It says if it's in hand or grave, you can attach it. So that means this will go up by 400 attack and defense, I believe. Let me look at it again. For each banished monster, actually. Ooh. Okay, so that's actually going to make this really large. It looks like Icejades actually have a way to put some damage out on board now, which is really cool. But let's go ahead and move on to their new spell. This says Great Icejade Sword Appearance or Great Icejade Manifestation, one of the 2. It is a normal spell that says you can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. It says if there is a monster in your opponent's field or grave and you control a water monster, you can take an Icejade monster from your deck and either send it to the graveyard or special summon it. And if a face-up Icejade monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card, except by being destroyed and except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 card your opponent controls and banish it. So this seems pretty good overall, but the problem is that unless your opponent has already used a hand trap, like I guess against Cradle or something, or not Cradle, but what's the one that searches? Oh no, it is Cradle. I'm just stupid. But unless they like Asher Cradle, this is only going to work like going second. So it can be a bit clunky. I do like the second effect if it would have like said including destruction as well. Like, I feel like this and then the new Longwan are just tying way too much into the lore, because if you guys didn't know, the new Longwan specifically banishes a card in the field zone and then a card your opponent controls are in their graveyard, which is supposed to symbolize Longwan destroying the like the field spell for Icejades, because that's what happens. And so it looks like this is also supposed to be the case, but I think that's kind of silly. I don't know. I mean, if they're trying to make Icejades go second more like with the Synchro monster, then this is fine, but the rest of the archetype doesn't really synergize with it that well. So I guess the idea is to try and get Cosmocroy out going second while you have like Onion Cradle out or something, and that prevents your opponent's monsters on their field from activating their effects. Why did I never think about that? I never took that into account when I was thinking about the effect. I was always thinking of it in going first scenario, which is what Curse is supposed to be for. But it's actually not that bad for going second. But I guess that's the idea, and then you use the Agerine and the Agerocassis. I didn't even realize they had this similar name. but you're supposed to use those to go into the synchro, and I guess you're supposed to like punch really hard, which isn't that far-fetched. It's just that the archetype overall is just very underwhelming, which is going to lead me away from talking about the card specifically and more of a synopsis on the actual archetype, because I'm assuming this might actually just end up being the last Icejade wave of support for a good while. And I actually really like the synchro monster, don't get me wrong. Like, I think the synchro monster is really like interesting. It's really unique as a card, but like the rest of the archetype just isn't like enough. Like, I feel like it's way too fair as an archetype. Like, all their effects are just so simple and just don't do enough. Like, you have Octi, for example. It says, send a water from hand to grave, draw a card. Ooh, that's crazy. Tanola, you can send a card and this card from your hand to grave to reborn a water. Tremora, send this card from hand to grave just to special a water from hand. Like, all of these effects are just way too fair to actually be relevant, and you just neg so much advantage for, like, such mediocre effects, especially when you're going second. That's really bad. Like, Aegerine's fine, which, I mean, like, Aegerine is a really good card because it was probably, like, the second wave, along with Curse. Curse and Aegerine are really good cards. But, like, as cards, especially, like, Tinola, which literally makes you neg just to summon something from your graveyard, it's like, these cards just don't do enough to warrant actually playing the deck. Plus, some of their effects are all over the place, like Kingfisher. Like, why is Kingfisher a thing when Aegirocasis was gonna come out and basically nerf it? Not to mention their field spell is, like, kind of awful, but yeah, I guess they're trying to focus Icejade on making it a bit more of a going second deck, but I don't know if it's hitting the nail on the head there. Like, obviously, I don't think this is going to do anything in, like, a meta sense. It can be really cool fun-wise, I guess. And I do like that it's pretty generic in terms of the synchro monster, like a water tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters. Like, I mean, Mermail just died, so maybe I can play this in Mermail. But yeah, overall, though, I just don't think Icejade has the chops to go second without, like, another massive wave of support. But I don't know, that's just my thoughts. Let me know your side in the comments below, because that's going to do it for the video. If you liked it, please sure to leave a like, as helps put this video and the channel into YouTube recommended. And if you like this content, you want to see more like it, like the rest of my review series, again, I am going to start reviewing archetype support with 2 or more cards instead of just 4 or more. And I also try to review every new wave of support that comes out and every new archetype that comes out. Then perhaps consider subscribing, because we're on our way to 2,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. We're only 100 away, and we're just approaching so fast. Not to mention, it supports the channel more than anything else, and it's absolutely free. But once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Aurora, signing off.